Okay, so we're gonna do this thing, right?
Hi.
Hi, and welcome to the table with Julie, Pam, and Jazz.
We want you to come to the table with us.
Here we go. Well, hello, Dose Dependent, and welcome back to our table. Come to the table.
Come to the table.
That is the title. I'm getting it right today. You guys impressed?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, we have with us, though, in studio today, a very special guest who we might be adding to our podcast in future, but she is wildly shaking her head. No, she's not camera ready. She's behind the scenes. So we will, keep that on the DL, but we might have a surprise for you in future because sadly this is our last video recording with the now famous Jocelyn Armstrong.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Jocelyn, are you like crying inside?
I am sad, but I'm very excited at the same time. It's torn.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting. It's hard because, for you guys, it's like it's not both sides, I'm just leaving. But you also, actually, there is kind of both sides, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't seen most of my family since Christmas, so then there's that part of it that's like...
So you've been here 8 months as an intern, and your time is coming to an end, so we will say goodbye to you. We will miss you, but we're really glad that you got to be here for this season.
Mm-hmm.
It's been really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And also with pioneering our Come to the Table series. It will always be, like a band, right?
Yeah.
Like a really famous band.
To get the band back together.
The original members.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The OG.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But, unlike with real celebrities, you're not gonna OD or run away to start your own band or something like that, right?
I don't know, we'll have to see.
Maybe.
Are you gonna start your own?
Never.
Oh my gosh.
Never.
I feel betrayed. I feel betrayed.
I start my own Dose Dependent 2.0.
Oh! Well, but seriously, what do they say? Repetition, not repetition.
I thought you were saying
flattery.
Say that again.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
It is, so thanks.
That's true. You want to be like someone.
That's right.
That's like Jesus.
Oh my.
So our topic today is friendship. This is a great segue into our topic. It is, because friendships come and go, and seasons of our life come and go and change and evolve, and yeah.
But you're not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
No, she
Never.
can't leave.
No.
She's stuck with me, guys.
Yeah.
I know people are weeping right now. I can see the comments. People are madly typing, you poor thing.
Yeah.
But, and you are going to come back.
For lots of visits.
Yep.
Yeah. And we might have like a guest episode.
That'd be great.
And, I mean, somebody might take my place, maybe.
Yeah, well. What is that sound I hear off camera? Is the mic picking
Cute
it
little
up?
laugh.
Okay. Well, anyways, we're going to keep that secret for now. But as Pam said, we are just going to get straight to it because I can't even begin to tell you what was happening here in studio. All of our technicians, our cameraman, the makeup artists, everybody, they just weren't on their game tonight, and so it's taken a really long time for us to get
perfect.
here. We do. Yes, we do. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's all about, is looking perfect while we tell you how we live our normal lives.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Oh my gosh, I think, okay guys, we're seriously overtired. It's a Monday night here, so we're pretending we're all fresh and camera ready. Meanwhile, it's Monday night, it's past our bedtime. We've worked all day.
We've all worked all day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's all good.
So, but we are here, we want to talk about friendships because friendships can be just the most thrilling thing, a la King David and Jonathan. Right? And friendships can be
most complex thing.
Yeah. Or remember that guy you didn't remember his name?
Yeah.
What was his name?
Wait, what?
In Abide, Behold, Become.
Abide.
Episode number 2, Jocelyn forgot Judas's name.
Oh, yeah, I did. And I was just doing, like, schoolwork. I was like, what's his name?
I know, oh my gosh, that was hilarious.
That was rough.
But yes, so friendships can also be as terrible and hurtful and painful as, one of your closest friends, like Judas betraying Jesus. But the thing that you said in that episode, I thought was so profound, that Jesus just acted like Judas was the rest of the disciples. He knew what Judas was going to do, but he didn't treat him any different.
Yeah.
He loved him.
Like,
he really loved him.
That still is like a sucker punch in my, I'm going here, but I mean in my gut.
Yeah.
When you said that, wow.
I mean, like, I saw a thing today, and it was like Jesus died on the cross knowing all the things we would do. Like, I mean, he lived, and he knew what people were doing, and he's died for all of them. And he knew the people to come were going to do it, and it was going to be horrible. Yeah. And he was like, I love them, even though.
And I've heard that before. I've known that before, as we all have. But when you said that, it brought it to life in a different way. And it also made me think of a difficult relationship that I have right now, and how I know that person is probably not going to treat me the way that I want them to, or sort of with the respect that the relationship deserves, or the reciprocal kindness that it deserves. And then sometimes it makes me want to treat that person. I'm having a very
I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I can't be.
So here's a real life moment of me being super offended with her, and I'm just gonna have a silent prayer right now that the Lord would help me. So I'm not. I'm just kidding. Do you want to let that out?
Situation. No, okay.
Are you like off camera laughing? Are you having an off camera moment there with our
my
guest?
brain was just. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It happens. I got told my dog was dying and I laughed. It's just weird. I don't know. Anyway, keep going.
I don't know what to say to that.
Okay.
So you were saying you were in a challenging relationship.
Yes. So
I'm not laughing anymore. You're gonna make me laugh.
Okay. So in this relationship that I have, that is a deep and very intimate relationship in my life, but that person doesn't always respond in kind, it makes me want to just kind of lash out or not treat them with all the kindness or the love that I can. And when you said that about how Jesus treated Judas regardless of knowing what he was going to do, that was really just very challenging for me to think about how God pours out grace upon grace upon grace on us in the desire for us to turn back to him. And I don't even know what you would say about this with all your years and experience and stuff, but
hey, that makes me sound really old.
We're like the same age. We're the same age.
That's true.
But I wonder, was God's heart broken for Judas? Did he love him the same way? Did he desire that he not perish?
I'm sure his heart was broken. Makes me wonder though, because he didn't just know, at the Passover table when he said, the person who's going to betray me is going to break the bread, or what I mean, how he's betrayed that in Scripture, or kind of gave some clues at the Last Supper. He knew long before. He knew throughout his whole relationship, and yet he could still love him. That's kind of mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
But it's challenging too, because let's be honest, there's people in our lives that we're not sure we can trust, and yet we love them anyway, or we're supposed to. I mean, there's appropriate levels of trust and appropriate levels of vulnerability, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But yet we are called to love. We're called to love people that would seemingly betray or be unlovable or...
Because we're called to live differently.
We need, and that love, we're vessels. That love flows through us. That love doesn't come from us. That love comes from the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different kind of love.
And it's not supposed to make sense to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure what you were asking me, and that probably didn't answer your question. Sorry.
No, it does. It talks about the transformative love of Christ and how it's only through experiencing it, right? It's not just about reading about the Lord. It's about experiencing that relationship with Him and His presence and how that transforms us. And so it's not just that you gave me that idea, but it's that in laying down my life for that family member, not literally, I'm not physically dying, but, in laying down my desire for respect or this or whatever. Yeah. It's just, it's a beautiful image of what Christ did. I mean, not that we can ever come close to that, but to even, like a little child who's pretending to be like their parent, right? Like pretend mowing the lawn or pretend like grocery shopping or whatever. Like I'm kind of doing that. Like, look at me, God.
I was writing an essay today, and one of the things that I was writing was that, like, Jesus is perfection, and He is, like, the ultimate example, and we often are very much like, well, He's perfect, I'm not, like, whatever, but we're still supposed to be striving to be like Him. We will never reach that, but we're supposed to be striving for that. That's the ultimate example.
Well, Scripture tells us that in this world, we're like Jesus.
Yeah.
So it is something, like you said, that we're going to press on and allow Him to change us. But in talking about that, we could easily, slip in and focus on relationships that are family or loved ones or spouses, the kind of relationships that we, for the most part, can't get away from. But we...
What about the ones we choose?
Well, that's the thing. Friendship is more... about who you choose. Now, you can be friends with people in your family, and people who are not your biological family can become your family. But I think we were focusing more today on friendship. Like, I choose to be your friend, and I'm so glad that you've chosen to be my friend. And the same with you, right? Because you came and I was like, ooh, look at that cool girl there. And then, we spent some time together, and that, to me, both of you guys have really blessed me that way, because I admire each of you for different reasons, and there's, different things about your personality and your friendship that you guys bring to me. And somebody giving you their friendship is really special.
It really is a gift.
Yeah. Because it takes, friendships take effort.
Yes.
So.
They do, and also they take sacrifice, and they take a willingness not to be offended when somebody sticks their hand right in front of your face. You're recording. Sorry about that.
I didn't.
But no, like, seriously, if you text and somebody doesn't answer you, or you show up to do a recording as a favor to your friend who wants to do a podcast, and like an hour later, technology's not working, but yet you're still here with a gracious smile on your face, right? I mean, those are just some silly things that I'm bringing up right now. But friendships, they take work, they take sacrifice, they take
years.
Yeah.
And some of the best friendships I have in my life aren't necessarily about every single day. It's about seeing somebody and picking up where you leave off. You know what I mean? And some of them are every day, but it's interesting, especially for somebody who's moved a lot in my life. And social media, I'm grateful for that, because that is another whole tool for maintaining friendships. But being able to pick up where you leave off. Godly friendships. And
there's some people you cannot talk to for a long time. It's just back to where it was.
Pick right up where you leave off.
Yeah. And you know that those people are going to have your back. Like, you can call them, you could message them.
I could list a number of people right now that would drop anything. I call them and they drop anything. And I would do that for, I can think of a whole bunch of people I would do that for, that's, this world is interesting. We're on, it's such a temporary little blip, right? and we get to do life together with the people God brings into our lives, and we get to shape one another. We get to encourage one another. We get to frustrate one another. We get to, we honestly, we get to live life together and grow together. And in all of that, I mean, we're talking specifically about friendships, but I mean, marriage, there's all kinds of different relationships that do that. But friendship particularly, it's for the ups and the downs. It's funny because I have my Bible open here to John 11, and it's a story of Lazarus, right? And I mean, Jesus was really good friends with Lazarus and Mary and Martha. Like, they were really good friends. It wasn't just, they were just another person on his tour around the Middle East or something. But he got a call, come, and then he didn't come. And when he came back, Lazarus had died, and he didn't rush right into it. He actually sat down with them and grieved, and it says Jesus wept.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he wept with them. He felt with them. He went into that season with them, knowing very well that he was going to raise Lazarus from the dead in a few minutes, right? But just the beauty of that friendship, the ups and the downs, and I'm sure why I'm talking about that, but it is an interesting picture of how Jesus modeled friendship for us.
And he shows as well in his choices of relationship different levels of friendship, right? So you had the 70, I believe, that he sent out. And then you have the 12, and even within the 12, there was the three, Peter, James, and John, who were in the inner circle. And I mean, I don't know if John was like the number one BFF, right? Like, the beloved, right?
Or at least that's what John would want us to believe.
Yes. But I think we're all that way in our own relationship with the Lord, right? But yeah, I love that. And Jesus knew the good and the bad. He saw who they would become, as well as everything that they were in their broken, sinful state. And that's one of the things that I value the most, is a friendship where I'm seen for both. So where you guys can see some of my struggles and see some of the
raw and realness.
Oh my gosh. Yes, Chassie. The raw and realness, but still have enough, faith that the maturity and the relationship that I have with God is real enough that you'll join me and do this podcast, right? And so that to me is the best. We want to be seen and be able to be vulnerable and loved and embraced, and know that there are people who will be there in the dark night of our soul. Right? So
get to be Jesus with skin on in our lives.
Yes. Yeah, that's
we get
beautiful.
to be Jesus to other people.
Yeah. And what about a friendship? Have either of you like examples or experience with friendship where the person was a really close friend, but something happened, and it might even be like that that the enemy was trying to attack your friendship because it's a friendship from God, and there's like a serious offense that happened, and you need to like work through it and choose to work through it to allow what God wanted rather than what the enemy was trying to do?
Waiting for Jazzy to answer.
Are you talking specific about what we talked about in the other episode?
Oh,
because that's not.
No, not
friendship.
no.
Okay.
No.
So I mean,
I think you're wanting to get to forgiveness. Is that what I understand? is that
I think it's a good segue.
Friendships can be difficult, and that we have to be willing to step back and let them go sometimes and forgive.
Yeah, I guess I have a specific scenario that happened in my life that maybe I'll just try and relate really quickly. So a very, very close friend of mine, it was obvious from early on in our relationship that the Lord was in the relationship, not just because we were both believers, but that God would speak to us through each other. And it always felt like we were going through similar lessons, different circumstances, but the same principle or the same lesson. And God was just always very evident in our relationship. And then we planned this big trip together, and God did some amazing work in each of our lives. Some deep work that both of us needed personally. We went to a conference together, halfway around the world, and leading up to that, we were both living in different places and going through really difficult circumstances, and surprise, surprise, miscommunication, misunderstanding, misinterpretation built up and wasn't dealt with. And so on the trip, when God wanted to speak and move, there was also this underlying, offense and tension and misunderstanding and things that could really just have wrecked the friendship and just ended it. Even though God did have his way and did do beautiful things in each of our life, at the end of the trip, when we went back to our separate homes, we had to work through that and choose to see what the enemy meant for evil. Yes, we played our own part in those things, right? But we were also able to see that and allow God to do what he wanted, and to actually have, I think, a stronger relationship. Like we talk about that, we'll often kind of revisit the craziness of that time and what God did. And I'm so grateful that he speaks to us about offense.
Yeah. And offense is a huge trap of the enemy. I mean, anything that causes us to decrease our love for someone is an offense. It's a trap. I mean, God's a redeemer and a restorer. He wants to absolutely use relationships in our lives and circumstances and moments. And when there's opportunity for offense, we've got a choice to make. I mean, it sounds like you guys, I don't know the story, but it sounds like you were able to sort of set it aside, still receive, and then deal with it later.
Yes.
Which, I mean, that takes a level of maturity too. But that's beautiful. I mean, God's a redeemer and a restorer. He wants to show up in that relationship, right? He wants to restore. He wants to, Yeah,
and our relationship, just became richer and deeper because of that shared experience and seeing, how you can stand against the enemy. And it did take work to get to that, because, our feelings get hurt. We're human beings. We're not Jesus. I don't know if I was dying on the cross, if I'd be able to forgive the guy beside me at that moment, right?
Sure I could.
I guess that's really not even a question. I don't know why that was a question. I wonder if I could do that. Clearly not.
I'm pretty sure I could.
But I mean, is there anything else? Any examples without naming names or necessarily divulging details, but times where you've had to forgive, and not just then I think cut the relationship off, although that could be the story too.
I think there have been lots of opportunities for offense. About 20 years ago, I took a course called Bait of Satan, John Bevere.
Yes.
Honestly, and that was such an eye-opener for me, and I happened to be leading the course, so I had to learn it and then live it and lead it. So it actually was kind of a big deal, and that was part of God training me on how not to be offended. I feel like that was a tool he gave me early on in ministry, because, well, let's be honest, ministry, you have lots of opportunities to be offended. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. But you have many, many opportunities to be misunderstood and possibly offended. And judged and all the stuff that goes with it. And loved, let's be honest. It's also a wonderful thing. But there is opportunity for misunderstandings and offense. And so that was, I was grateful, very grateful.
Did it stop?
Yes, indeed, it did stop. Right in the middle of our recording. We lost some precious, wonderful stuff. But we quickly gathered it together, and technical difficulties notwithstanding, we just recorded a very different ending. So if the video sounds like it just jumps right to the end, it's because it did. But we're glad you're still here with us. Enjoy!
So ladies, as we come to a conclusion in talking about friendship, wondering if you would love to share what you think is the earmark of a godly friendship.
I think how you know is if, well, it says it refreshes your soul. And I think if you leave and you feel better and you feel happier and your bucket is filled, as we used to do in elementary school, we'd have, are you a bucket filler? You're going to be a bucket filler. But when you leave, do you feel better? You shouldn't leave feeling anxious and worried. And I remember in high school, actually, my mom, I came home and I was like, Mom, why do I keep coming home and I keep feeling like anxious and not good? And like, I didn't understand. She was like, maybe the people you're hanging out with like aren't the ones. But I'm like, but they love Jesus and they're good people. But maybe they're not your people. And that's just the thing. When I'm I think that's how you know God makes it very clear. And peace, because peace is from him and confusion is not from him. And yeah, if you leave feeling better, if they point you more towards Jesus, and not other things, and not the things of this world. And when you're struggling, it's Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And if you are closer to God and you're a better person when you're with that person, I think that's how.
That's how you know it's a godly friendship.
Yeah.
Well, that about sums it up. You got anything to add to that?
No, I don't, except that I'm going to miss you and thank you so much for being part of the original cast.
The OG.
Yes, that's. I never caught that before. Wow. Yes, thank you so much for being part of this. But I mean,
thank you.
You know, really, thank you so much for being part of my life and my family's life, and I'm looking forward to coming back.
Yes, we'll see you when you come
back. So you don't really have to say goodbye because she's part of your family. So that's forever. Well, thank you so much for joining us at the table. If you have any comments about friendship or about offense or betrayal or how God helped you work through things like that, comment down below. Not on my lap, but on your side of the screen. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
On the other side of the table.
Oh, maybe that's what we should have called it. Anyways.
Okay.
Because they're coming to our table.
See you next time on Come to the Table.
Bye.
Bye.